Hey, it's Jenn and Jeannine, and we are here at Miele in Tysons Corner, and we're really excited to showcase their showroom and what they have to offer to a lot of our customers and as well as a lot of people in the community. And what else are we doing today? We are making a Thanksgiving dinner, and by making, I mean we are watching a Thanksgiving dinner be made and enjoying the whole process and the end product. So stay tuned.
So now we need to get our roasted vegetables into the speed oven, and Andy will tell you about that in just a moment. I'm using mostly root vegetables, and what you're going for here is color. You want to have some beautiful, these are purple carrots. This is sweet potatoes, turnips, parsnips, and I'm throwing little baby Brussels sprouts in there because my kids love Brussels sprouts, number one. And number two, it adds one more color. I like having a little green. So it's not technically a root vegetable, but I like how it looks. The other thing that I think everybody should learn to do is roast your garlic heads. So you slice off the top, and the top, not the root, the pointed top, you slice it off. And I will show you how I'm going to use these later for decoration. But these can be done anytime you roast vegetables, and they taste actually wonderful. You squeeze it out of the head of and you can just smear it on your chicken or your steak, and they're excellent. So we will do that as well. I cover my root vegetables and my Brussels sprouts and my garlic with a good amount of olive oil. Good olive oil. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, always use extra virgin olive oil because I don't know where the other olive oil is coming from. Yeah. But I would probably trust a Greek olive oil or an Italian olive oil. Again, some sea salt, you know.
I was just looking
kosher salt, I guess.
Could you use kosher
either
salt
one. Kosher
also,
salt
because it's grittier?
It's just a coarse salt.
Okay.
Pepper.
Yeah, I was gonna say in the thing about the garlic, it's so inexpensive.
Oh, yeah, right.
So delicious to roast it.
It gives it a different, I love fresh garlic, but then roasted just leaves the flavor because of the richness.
I love it.
It's delicious.
Okay, these are herbe de Provence. This is a French combination of herbs. And again, you can put anything. I have a wonderful chili lime mix that I like to use on roasted vegetables. The thing most people do wrong is they under-season their vegetables and they taste kind of bland. But this is the time to experiment with all the different kinds of, and we have all these wonderful spice shops now, and they have all these combination of spices that you can try, like lemon pepper or, like I said, chili lime. So this is the time to experiment. There's no right or wrong on this one.
Right.
Now Andy's going to tell us why the speed oven helps us with our timing. This is something I would do last minute.
Okay.
Because you want the vegetables, because they're hard to reheat. They're not hard to reheat, but they taste better right out of the oven. So when everything else is ready, you put your vegetables in, because while the turkey is resting, they're going to be cooking, and then everything will come together. And now we're going to go over to Andy, and she's going to tell us about the speed oven.
So you're gonna get a full microwave oven and a full convection oven in this oven right now.
So what makes it a speed oven?
It's two things. You have the microwave, okay, and you have the oven category. So it can be used as both. However, it can be used in tandem as well. So if you were doing yes.
Wait, what?
Yes, So if you were doing a chicken,
Hold on.
yes, you can have, with our roast probe, using our micro combi mode, you can convection bake a chicken and microwave it at the same time. So a full chicken takes only 30 minutes. And remember, when you make chicken, it splatters, you can take this dish out, stick it right in the dishwasher. Super, super easy.
And convenient, and I think there's so many families that would benefit for something like this, because like you said, you can program things.
Yes.
You can set your menu in advance, especially nowadays when we're all so running around and busy. People
Yeah.
that at home or out and about these days are at home, right?
Right.
That makes it so much more easier and convenient, and it's the family involved, right? It's like, well, it's not that much work to do such and such and such.
No, I mean, you know, for my child, I would easily program everything in for him, and I can call him and say, Mom, take the lasagna, out of the freezer, stick it in, have it ready at 7 o'clock. He just has to go to favorites, lasagna, ready at 7 o'clock. Also, there is a brick oven feature on this oven and this oven as well. So this is really, you can do your pizzas
That's
in here.
incredible.
Yeah, so wonderful. So one of the, go ahead.
I was gonna ask you about the warming drawer. So how is that in relation to that and everything else? The warming drawer.
So the warming drawer is a awesome piece
Okay.
of equipment. One of the things I like to say, we have it on the bottom of this stack. A lot of times if you're gonna use a warming drawer, what I recommend, if you have the room, to put it up in the countertop. Because you will use it a lot more if you have it up here. Okay, because you're warm.
In your island.
Yes, in your
Okay.
island. So a lot of times you just press it on. It'll stay on for 12 hours. Okay? So you can have warm coffee cups all day. You can put warm towels in there. There are so many things. And how, you know, if you're having a stressed out day, how nice would it be to take a shower and come out to a really nice warm shower? I mean, really, you have such lovely things. But with the combi stand, excuse me, with the warming drawer, what's really, really nice about it is you have no sides. So when we go to take this out, it's going to be really easy to pick it out here, because if you had sides, that's going to be a bit of a problem. It also uses convection, so it's cooking more thoroughly, okay, and evenly. And you can program it to go off in 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, or 4 hour, or leave it on for 12 straight. If you decide you want to slow cook in this, you can. It has a temperature variation of 85 degrees to 185 degrees. So I have done some bag cooking. I'll stick things, if I'm going to do pulled pork or something like that, I'll put it in here, leave it here all day, ready for dinner.
Or sous vide.
Sous vide, we could do it more in the water bath, is going to be in the combi steam oven, but you could do that. I did.
Do it.
Yeah.
And again, on the time cooking, which is important during Thanksgiving Day.
I've made the leek mashed potatoes that are on the recipes, and I made that last night. And we put it in the warming drawer, and then when you're ready to serve it, they're warm.
And it's not warm enough enough to dry it out. So
Yes.
it keeps moisture.
Yeah, this is not your mother's warming drawer. This is not where you put your extra pots and pans. It's not a, it's not a expensive, storage drawer. No,
Expensive.
it would be a very expensive storage drawer, but it's not. It is a useful item and a good accessory to any other combination of
And are the ovens you've described, are they available with gas and electric?
So no, all of our wall ovens are going to be, we don't make any wall ovens that are gas. Miele makes tons of gas cooktops and gas ranges, which we're renowned for because of the dual fuel that we have, where it is on the range is going to be gas on the top and then electric on the bottom. And it will actually, if it has the electric on the bottom and it's an M-Touch range, it's going to have this configuration of all these programs on it. So some of the things that you would be able to do is you have convection bake, convection roast, surround, heat from the top, heat from the bottom, which we're doing up here. Moisture Plus, which Christal spoke to, for the turkey to do bursts of steams while we have the roast probe in. Auto roast is using the roast probe, and then we have some traditionals, like traditional bake, browning is a light broil, maxi broil, broil, convection broil, which is great for fish, and gentle bake. And that means the pan is not going to be going so hard so that you don't have Gumby cupcakes, you know, so you don't have that on there. So this is really, really great. Yeah.
There's a variety of vegetables on the tray with different textures and sizes and such. So how do you make it so you know that everything's going to be not
cooked at the same time.
Yes.
You
You took the words right out of my mouth.
I pulled the words out of your mouth. No, the best way to do that is
Yeah.
to make sure that they're all cut at the same thickness.
Okay. Thank
So if you're, the only things that are going to get a little crispier than the other vegetables are the red onions, but I like crispy red
I
onions.
love.
If you don't like if they're cooked and they're soft, but you really wanted kind of a little more browning, then do the stage cooking that Andy referred to, and add a broil stage to the end, like a 3-minute high broil, and that'll give them a nice little brown crispiness, which I like.
You can program all that.
You can program all that, or you can see it,
Right.
and if it's not to your liking, then add a broil.
I love the programming because when I have all these things going at one time,
exactly.
I am notorious for forgetting something.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, this thing that I've spent all this time prepping is in the oven and it's ruined. So I love the programming feature.
Well, and the main thing around a big dinner like this is never do anything you've never made before. So the key to a very successful dinner, any dinner, a big celebration of any kind, is practice the recipes ahead of time. Do not make anything you've never made before because it could be a disaster. And then the only thing I can say about any kinds of disasters is, and I tell this to everybody, everyone in all my classes, is have the pizza number, the pizza delivery number on your refrigerator door, and have really, really good wine and good ice cream in your freezer.
I think
Because that will cover everything, and it makes for a good story. I've had, in the middle of a dinner party, I've had an electrical catastrophe. So I couldn't cook at all. And I just called for pizza. My husband got some great wine out, and I made sure that everybody had enough to eat. And we laughed about it all night. It happened to be on Halloween night, actually. So we also had a lot of candy for dessert.
Well,
you were going to
say
take
before, I wasn't taking
umbrage to
umbrage,
that.
but I will say that is sage advice to never make anything the first time when you're having
Right.
a big holiday dinner. That said, for those of us who cook mostly on special occasions, I'll never try anything new. I mean, we definitely have our family favorites, but I always toss in something new that I've either seen a professional chef make or, you know, watched on a cooking show, because I think it's super fun. But I think you've covered it. If it doesn't work out, just have a backup.
Yeah,
Pull
always
out
have
that
have your
frozen-
plan B.
Plan B.
So gravies. Well, first of all, I'm using the induction cooktop for my gravy, and the reason I love this I love it for a lot of reasons. The main reason is it can hold any kind of sauces for a long time without you having to keep looking at it. Is it drying up? Is it burning? Is it evaporating too fast? And you can keep it as on a very, very low temperature for hours. And the best thing that it does is keep chocolate at a low. So if you were going to do a chocolate fondue, but you didn't want to have to melt your chocolate just before the party, you could keep it on this, melting away all day, and it'll just hold it at a certain point.
It wouldn't break.
And
You
it
know,
won't
there's a lot-
break.
You can tell I watch a lot of food TV. But
Yeah. It won't break. It
Okay,
won't break.
okay.
And the other thing I really like about this, and it's a magic trick,
Oh.
so don't scream when I do this,
Oh,
okay?
Oh.
I think we've already, mine's been blown a few times
All
already
right.
today.
If
so.
you have little kids,
Oh.
especially if you have little kids, or you have a husband who just is, you know, not thinking half the time, and comes and watches you cook, and you move a pot,
Okay.
and he accidentally touches the area where you had your pot, it's not going to burn him. It's warm, but it's not going to take off your skin.
That's
I
amazing.
literally just
I'm
pulled that off.
fascinated by the engineering. We don't need to go into the engineering
Right,
of how that works.
right.
But I think that's fascinating, and you're right. For families with small children,
Especially small
that
children.
really would provide comfort.
And
to
you can
the burning.
lock the induction cooktop so that the kids can't turn it on, which is also very good. So, or your husband can't turn it on, which in my house is really what the lock feature is for. So I have made the giblet gravy.
It smells even more.
Well, this
glorious
is-
in here
this
the longer
is-
we hang out here.
Unbelievable.
If you want to impress people who are coming over for
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, start this early in the morning.
my
Throw the
goodness.
giblets into a nice little saucepan. I put in broth. I put in regular chicken broth. Around Thanksgiving, they sell turkey broth, which is wonderful.
Right.
College Inn sells a really good turkey broth. Put that in there. All your aromatics, carrot, onion, celery, thyme, sage, rosemary. And this is what is going to make people think you've been
It's just-
cooking a gourmet dinner all day.
I'm just going to do that on a weekly basis.
I just think,
So,
yeah. Once
Yeah.
once the weather turns again, I think yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
So what giblet gravy is you take these, and these are the necks of the turkey, and once they're cooked, you pull out, you cool it down, you strain the broth, and you put the broth in another saucepan. You cool this down. If you want to use the giblet meat, you take it off of the bone, you chop it up, and you put it into your gravy. I'm making a straight gravy today. So this has been strained, and I've added the drippings from the first turkey that I made this morning, and it should look about that color for you. And you bring it to a rolling boil, which I'm gonna. And the other great thing about an induction cooktop is the minute I put it high, this is already starting to boil. It does not take all day to make it boil.
That's great.
I just don't
And you
understand.
can move it the pan aside and accidentally touch it, and you're not going to be affected.
I'm doing it. So.
I'm doing it.
I don't.
I don't either,
All right,
but
so
it's
once you-
amazing.
You bring it, all right, this is called a slurry.
Okay.
And basically all a slurry is you can either use broth and cornstarch, and the amounts are on the recipe. It's about half and half of each. So if you use a quarter cup of cornstarch, use a quarter cup of white wine.
Just a thickener.
It's a thickener.
You said white wine, not
White
broth.
wine,
Okay.
I'm using white wine.
Okay.
But you can use the turkey broth. You can use this broth, but not hot. Take it out while it's cooled down and add it.
Okay.
But you need to make it nice and smooth.
Okay.
And if it's too lumpy, I'll show you another trick. If it's too lumpy, and this is not lumpy, but if it was lumpy and you just can't get it nice and smooth,
Right.
you can pour it through a strainer into the broth, and that'll catch the lumps, but this is fine. Or once you pour it in, if your gravy starts to get a little lumpy, then pour your gravy through a strainer.
Why did I never think of that?
Now, did you leave that at a boil, or did you? Is it at
It's a low
Okay.
boil. Okay?
And that doesn't take very long.
It won't take very long, but I don't want to wait last minute to do this. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to set it on a low temperature, and it's going to sit here till I'm ready to use it.
I do
And
feel the
it's going to,
gravy.
I'm not a big fan of really thick gravy.
Right.
This is kind of a
I like, yeah.
a semi-thick gravy, but if you want it a little thicker, which is fine, just add more cornstarch.
Okay. Yeah, I love that you can just leave things. and
Well,
not worry
that's the
about them,
great
and they
part of,
won't-
that's the great part of the induction,
Right.
you know, because you can't do that on a,
No.
on a gas
Yes.
stove.
No.
I mean, some have the really low temperature, but
Right.
it's not quite the same as an
Right.
induction cooktop and how low it can go and
Right.
still maintain the heat. You don't only decorate your turkey tray, you use your thyme sprigs to just jazz up your roasted vegetables. Because when you bring it to the table, everybody's going to say, ooh, and then they'll say, ah. And
And if they don't.
Andy's dishing up these wonderful leek mashed potatoes. And again, that was just a very simple recipe. You can follow the recipe with russet mashed potatoes. And I saute my leeks slowly, otherwise they will burn and they'll look brown. These are not brown because they were sauteed very slowly. And you want to cook them through because otherwise, if you take a bite of them, you're going to get a crunchy leek, and that's not what you want in a mashed potato leek casserole.
What you're also going to notice is how moist the potatoes are. They're so creamy and they're so moist. So I don't know if you can get a close-up of that, but that's just stunning.
And there's just one more thing to gild the lily.
Oh,
If you have oranges or pears, I like apples because it's just another color. And you leave them with the seeds in because they're so cool looking. And that's all you need to
pretty is
do.
that?
And then it's picturesque. And everybody will say, what will they say?
Ooh.
And then,
Ah.
okay, we got it.